Hello and welcome to From Agenda to Action, where we take a look ahead at what's coming up at the Ames City Council meeting so that you're not going in cold. I'm Bill Gebhart with the City of Ames. Council meets on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, and today we're previewing the next meeting, which will be Tuesday, May 26th, and we're going to highlight a few of the items that could impact our community. But before we get into that, I have a quick announcement. Monday is Memorial Day, and so City Hall and many city offices will be closed that day in honor of Memorial Day. The Ames Patriotic Council is having their annual parade and program. The parade starts at 10:30. It starts at City Hall. It'll go down Clark to 9th Street and over to the cemetery. That is where the program is, beginning at 11 o'clock. Now let's get into this agenda for the meeting on Tuesday, May 26th. Mayor John Haila is back with us to help guide the conversation. Mayor, thanks for joining us once again.
Good to be with you, Bill.
So the first thing that I want to mention is that the council meetings start at 6, but this time at 6 we're starting with a different meeting. Right.
That's correct.
So the Ames Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, right?
That's correct.
And so that is just about transit. Ames City Council sits on that board.
That's correct. And also there's several other entities, including the Story County Board of Supervisors and also some of the local school boards.
And so what does that mean for the start time of City Council meeting?
Well, typically the Transportation Policy Committee meeting is fairly short, depending upon what all is on the agenda. But as soon as the AAMPO meeting adjourns, we'll take a short break, and then we will then call the Ames City Council meeting to order, which typically is between 6:10 and 6:25. So
it's not definitely a long wait, but it won't start right at 6. It'll just start shortly after the AAMPO meeting.
That's correct. And the agenda is posted saying call to order at 6 p.m., but it will follow immediately after the transportation meeting.
Okay. So that for all of you out there that are coming to the meeting, you might get 2 meetings for the price of 1 at that day. But okay, so let's jump into this agenda. There are 51 items on the agenda as it stands right now. When we look at consent agenda, again, consent agenda is something that typically passes in a single motion unless one of the council members wants to pull a specific item. Are there any things in there that we should pay attention to?
Yeah, Bill, there's a couple of items of interest. The first is item 10, request for designation of a parklet for the 2026 Sidewalk Cafe season. And a parklet, for those who may not be aware, is a constructed platform that is installed in the parking area. Typically, it's between 2 and 3 parking spaces wide. And the intent is to provide more outdoor seating for a specific business or a commercial entity.
And so that if this gets approved, which again in consent agenda, that there's a good chance for that. But what this really does is it gives the business an opportunity to have more outdoor seating, and it encroaches on the parking spaces, which is why it comes to council.
That's correct. And also council has to approve extending an exception to a specific code section allowing alcohol service to extend into the adjacent parklet. So the two, this is a pilot project that's going on in concert with the Ames Main Street. And one is going to be in front of Della Viti at 323 Main Street. And the other one's going to be at Sam's Place, which is at the far east end of Main Street, 125 Main Street. So we're looking forward to seeing these brought to fruition. It is part of the Ames Main Street guiding vision document, where we're looking to enhance the vibrancy of the downtown area by providing additional outdoor seating and service by these 2 different entities. So we'll look to see those hopefully come on online sometime in the month of June, and then we'll go ahead and move forward with that in the future.
No, that sounds great. Anything else on the consent agenda we should be looking at?
As people are probably aware of the fantastic program we have with Asset, which is a consortium of county, city, United Way, and ISU student government all pool financial resources together. And this year, between the 4 entities, a little more than $5 million is being apportioned to 20 to 25 different agencies to purchase services to serve the needs of those in our in the community. So from the standpoint of the city standpoint, we're almost at $1.8 million. And then there's going to be approximately $225,000 that are going to be designated as unallocated for the coming fiscal year.
And so Asset really does work with the social services of our residents of Ames, right? So when you're saying purchasing services, it's not necessarily goods or things like that, but it can be mental health. It can be things working with our homeless population and things like that.
Good clarification. Yes, when I say purchase services, it is specifically for providing direct services from different agencies such as YSS, Boys and Girls Club, or other entities. 60 Forward provides important services to individual members and or families in our community.
Yeah, and so those are definitely much needed services, and it's a great partnership. Everyone that is putting in for these services too. I think that partnership is really cool too.
It is, and there's exemplary cooperation between all these entities. It is a number of volunteers are appointed by each of these entities to serve as advisory, and they meet with these different service agencies and make recommendations to the funding agencies. That is the four entities I talked about previously.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the regular agenda. The first thing I notice on there is a presentation of the Ames Regional Economic Alliance annual report. So I know this is just a report for you guys where you're going to be hearing about what the Alliance is doing, but what does that mean for council and for the city?
Yeah, so every year council has authorized investing and purchasing services, again, from the Ames Regional Economic Alliance to do economic development, and there's workforce services that were provided that we could have, instead of us, that is us being the city, providing that through staffing, we looked to outside partners to perform that. And part of the contract agreement is that on an annual basis, a report is brought back to council that reviews the past years of activity, what has been accomplished, and also has a forward-looking view of what's going to be happening in the future. So it's always a very positive time to celebrate, but also recognize what has been accomplished and maybe what some things are coming up that we could work on together.
Absolutely. Well, definitely be looking forward to that presentation. What else on the agenda should we be highlighting?
Number 41 is our 25-26 multimodal roadway improvement on Wilder Boulevard. And there's actually proposed 3 mini roundabouts for traffic calming in that area. And this is the first time, I believe, in our city where we're looking at one road having 3 mini roundabouts. It's on Wilder Boulevard, which runs north-south, and the intersections at Thackeray, Clemens, and Frost. And this is to help calm traffic, reduce potential speeding along Wilder, but also to take the place of having stop signs. And the roundabouts are becoming more popular, and it really has a minimal impact on the adjacent property owners. So this is the first time that council will have received a specific report based on a public meeting that was held with the residents on April 16th.
And that's what I was going to ask. So what is the process of these things coming to council? So I know, obviously, the traffic engineering staff has been working on it. They are the ones that held the public meeting on April 16th. And then, so this is the first time this is being brought. What will happen with this item at that meeting?
Yeah, so council will receive the presentation from staff in terms of what the proposed project looks like, the sort of feedback that was received from the community members, and then they're going to look for council to get some direction to them in terms of how to proceed with the project. And as has been talked about previously, what really is important to council is for staff to be going out and getting robust public input on projects. And so, as we talked about here not too long ago regarding the Stang Road and council requesting...
It reminded me of that a little bit.
Yes, requesting that there be additional public input taken. It's encouraging to hear that public meetings are being held, important for council to understand what the public is saying and the responses that are being received by staff. So As I mentioned, this is going to be the first time it's come before council, so it'll be a very interesting presentation, and we look forward to hearing the feedback that the public gave to staff.
Absolutely. And if people are wanting to give their feedback, they weren't able to make it to that public meeting or other ways, they can send council an email, things like that as well, right?
Correct. And I would anticipate that there'll probably be public input taken that evening too, because if on the basis that staff's going to be asking for direction on to move forward with the project, we'd like to see and receive public input from individuals prior to that motion, given the fact that once staff and consultants start working on a project, it makes it a little more difficult to make changes down the road.
Yeah. So there will be public input open during this item when we get there as well, because you're going to be giving motion for direction.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
so there's that. And also people can email at mayorcouncil@cityofames.org, and those emails come through to you guys as well, also, right?
That's correct.
Okay, well, that is a good way to give input if you have input on this Wilder Boulevard as they're working on making these improvements.
Yep.
Anything else in the agenda that we need to
Last
look
time
at?
I would just highlight is just that we have a public hearing on our final amendment to the current fiscal year budget, and our fiscal year budget started on July 1 of 2025.
Yep.
It ends on June 30 of this year. Amendments to the budget are made from time to time based on staff input. And just to be clear, the budget cannot increase in amount, but it can be adjusted based on if projects are being delayed or if there is either increase or decreases in staffing expenditures or other unexpected things that come up. And so staff does an excellent job of managing our city fiscally and looking at what amendments are recommended to bring before council for the budget. And it is a public hearing, and so prior to any action being taken, the public will be invited to offer comment under item number 43.
So another place for input would be that budget.
Correct. And we will continue to advocate that we are always open and welcome public input on items that are on the agenda, as you mentioned, either in writing, via email, phone calls, and or showing up in person at the meeting.
And people can find your phone numbers also at cityofames.org/citycouncil. That's where you guys are all listed.
That's correct.
Phone numbers and emails and all of that stuff as well.
Correct.
So there's lots of ways to give feedback, and we're always looking for that feedback, even on agenda items we didn't bring up today.
Correct.
Absolutely. We're always looking for that feedback. So this is just a preview of the 51 items that are on the agenda for the City Council this Tuesday, May 26th. So remember, the meeting starts at 6 p.m., but it starts with the AAMPO, with the City Council following immediately after. This overview reflects the agenda as it stands right now, but the agenda can be amended up to 24 hours prior to that meeting. So for the latest updates and full details, visit cityofames.org/citycouncil. It's where you'll also find phone numbers of our mayor and city council members, as well as emails. But you can also get to the agenda, the packet, all that stuff, so you can see everything we're going to discuss. So we do hope you'll join us Tuesday at 6 p.m., either in person or online. And if you'd like to see me and the mayor, we'll be at the Memorial Day service on Monday. Parade starts at 10:30. The presentation is at 11. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us again and helping us to keep the City of Ames informed.
Thank you. I want to wish everybody a pleasant Memorial Day weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing them on Tuesday, May 26th.
That's right. We'll see you at the meeting.
From Agenda to Action is a City of Ames podcast.